Hi! So I'm on a kitchen floor right now, but disregard that because I am bored and I wanted to film something today. So here I am. I kind of took the lazy route here and I'm not really prepared for anything, so I'm doing a Q&A. So yeah, basically what I did was I asked people on my Finsta, I posted a little story and I asked people to ask me questions. So I'm just going to be sharing those questions with you and sharing my answers. This probably won't be that long because not many people actually ask questions because I don't have that many friends. Please disregard how I look. I know it's terrible, but there's nothing I can do about that. If you notice like a glow on my face, it's because I'm looking at my iPad. First question is top 3 procrastination habits. If you know me, you know that procrastination is one of my many faults, but also talents. It's a talent because I'm good at it, and that's also the fault, is I'm good at it, and I have a lot of practice procrastinating. Top 3, see the thing is, when I procrastinate, I try to find a way of not feeling guilty about procrastinating, so I will like clean or I will cook something. That's a really hard question to answer, but I would say the best ones are like cleaning, which I know is like stupid, and my room is a mess right now, so if you knew me, you would know that that's not how I'm coping currently. This got really off topic. Another reason I clean for is when it's 2 a.m. I'm having a depressive episode and I'm just thinking, wow, what if I could clean right now? And I just got a sudden burst of energy, which never happens, and then I just start cleaning. Sorry to get off topic there, but I felt the need to overshare. That was from Michaela. This one's from Michael. I have no question but Illy. Illy too, Michael. Next one is from Jake. This is a good one. Favorite episode of The Office, favorite character other than Michael, and favorite season. I'm gonna have to open up Netflix for this one. So the first part of the question is favorite episode. Now that is so hard for me to answer because, like everyone else on this planet, I watch The Office and it's one of my favorite shows. Now I could say my favorite episode is stress relief, like everyone else out there. Not to be like different. I think my favorite episode, I might have to go back to season 1 on this one, because a lot of people just say skip season 1 because it's not good, or they just don't like the way Michael is, which he is kind of, I don't know how to describe him in season 1, but Michael is truly a specimen. But I think my favorite episode might be Diversity Day or Basketball or Hot Girl. All of the episodes in season 1, there's only 6, but all of them are like my favorites, I would say. Second question is favorite character other than Michael. I feel like the most interesting character other than Michael is Dwight. He's not likable at parts, obviously. Well, you know, I do like him, but there's parts where he's like just gets on your nerves, but that's what he's there for. Now I'm thinking. You got me thinking, Jake. That is such a good question. I think I'm just gonna go with Dwight on that one. I think I just relate to him. I don't know why, but I do. Next question. Will you go out with me? Yeah. I thought we already were dating, but okay. This is a little inside joke between me and Darby, so if you're watching this, Darby, I see you. Favorite musical you've been in and why? Well, I've only been in 3, which is Seussical, Footloose, and Heathers. And that's really hard to answer because Seussical was my first musical. It was like losing my musical virginity. Like, it was such an amazing experience. I cried on closing night for that one, but for Footloose, I cried before, like in between the matinee and the night show for closing, but I didn't cry at the end of the night. Seussical was my first experience. It was where I learned to love musical theater. That was where I met like a lot of the friends I have now. But then there was Footloose, which was my first high school musical, which was my sophomore year. It was just so much fun. I didn't have a good role in any of these, but it's not like I expected a good role, I'm like new. Footloose was so much fun because I just think it was an all-around great show. One of the most sold like tickets or whatever at our school, which was awesome. It was just fun to be a part of. Heathers was a summer show, which was awesome because I didn't have to worry about like schoolwork getting in the way of anything. I think Footloose might have been my favorite because I had a really cool wig. I'll insert a picture here. That kind of elevated my love for the show. Last thing that had you chopped. The last thing that made me laugh was, I'll have to think about that, but if I do think about it, or if it's a video or a picture or a meme or something, I'll add that right now. So the next question that I got was from Abby, and she asked, what are my favorite YouTubers? That's a good question. I wonder who they are. James Charles. Sorry, that was bad. No, but I actually do love James Charles. But Dan and Phil. Yeah, I love Dan and Phil. Have been watching them for years. Went to their tour, not Interactive Introverts, but The Amazing Tour Is Not on Fire. I wish I went to Interactive Introverts, but I didn't because money. I'm just gonna look at who I subscribe to and I'll just let y'all know. That joke about James Charles, I actually love James Charles and I plan on buying his new palette. So James, I know you're watching this right now. I'm gonna give you my money for that. I love you so much. Dan and Phil. Oh, Shane. I love Shane. James Charles. Sophia Nygaard. Antonio Garza. My Life is Ava. Emma, girl, I know you're watching this too. I'm so sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. But just my brain doesn't function. I would say that watching YouTube takes up a lot of my life and time because I went through a period like where I stopped watching, including Dan and Phil. I just didn't really watch that much. Like especially recently, I've just been watching so much, like all of their videos and everything. And let me tell you, it's been exquisite. Oh my God, I just feel like talking about this. This has nothing to do with the video, but I'm just gonna talk about it. So a couple weeks ago was my school's blood drive, and me being the giving, thoughtful person that I am, I decided, hey, I'm gonna give blood, I'm gonna save some lives today. I was just feeling super nice. So I signed up, I brought in my permission slip. Okay, so stop watching this now if you're squeamish. It's not like super graphic or anything, but I mention needles. So if you don't like that, I would click off, even though no one watches these. So yeah, I get there and it's my turn to go. They ask me a bunch of questions like height, weight. Not gonna share that because I don't even know, because I don't love myself. Moving on. And then I go to the table where I lie down and I'm lying there and this lady comes over and like, you just like can't find the veins in my arms. Like she just can't. And I'm right-handed, so they decided to go with my left arm and then they can't find a vein. They're like, they put like a bunch of squeezing things around my arm and they were like flicking it and I was like, just come on, there's no vein there. So she's just like, she moves to my other arm and they find one. It's faint, but they find one. So she puts the thing on my arm and just like lets me sit there for a minute. Eventually she comes over and she gets the needle on my arm and she's like, huh, where did it go? And there's a needle poking in my arm. And she calls like another woman over and she's like, can you help me find it? And they're like moving it. They're like moving it around and they're like, oh, I can't find it. They bring this like more professional woman over and moments before this happened, this guy asks me, hey, do you mind if I take your pictures for like, I don't know, the yearbook or something? And I'm like, yeah, of course. So I'm on the table and I'm wincing. I'm visibly in pain and I'm just like, and I know he's taking pictures of me and he's obviously not going to use these because I'm in pain and they want to advertise the blood drive, but I'm just like sitting on the table like, and I know I'm not special for doing this, like I'm not the only person who's had an experience with giving blood that's been foul. I'm just sharing it anyway. So eventually she gets it in. The whole time it's like in my arm. I'm just feeling nauseous, like increasingly just bad. I don't know how to describe it other than bad. Eventually it's time to like take it out and I'm just feeling like I'm gonna pass out, like I just like don't feel good. And I've never passed out before. I've never experienced, you know, what it feels like leading up to the unconsciousness. She takes it out of my arm, she's like, all right, you're all good, sit up slowly. I sit up slowly, and she like grabs my arm to help me up. I stand up, and all of a sudden I'm like, and I just collapse. My friends were there, like a couple of my friends, and this one kid, he's about to get his blood drawn. They were all there. I hear everyone's like, oh no, and then the one teacher who's like monitoring the blood drive is like, oh God, and I'm just like falling on the ground. I'm conscious before I'm flat on the ground. Like I was like sitting like while they were like holding me and I was like, hello? And my ears were all fuzzy and I couldn't hear and everyone around me was just like, And I'm wearing this big sweater, and they like take the sweater off of me. I had a shirt on underneath, it's fine. They take it off of me, and I'm just like lying on the gym floor, which God knows when the last time they cleaned it was, and I'm just like, all right, this is fine. And they get like these towels with ice on it, and they put it all over my body. And I'm just like, yeah. I'm not the only person who passed out that day, but I'm like one of the few people, maybe the only person who stood up and then fell on the ground, which is just one of my quirkier stunts, something that I'm not very proud of. I'm just lying there, lying on the floor. I'm lying there for like 10 minutes, and then I go up and walk over to this like area. It's just a mat, like a wrestling mat on the ground where the kids recover after they get their blood drawn for like 10 minutes before they go back to class. I'm lying there for like an hour because every time I stand up, I'm like, ugh, I feel like I'm about to vom. So I lie back down, and I'm there for like a long time. And then I go up to one of the teachers and I say, hey, I think I'm ready to go to class. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, actually, no, I'm not. And I go and I lie back down, and they're like very cool about it. And then I had my gym period, and they weren't gonna let me go to gym. So I go to a study hall, which is like, gym is 2 periods. So it's 2 periods of a study hall. And then I have my math class next, and the whole time during the study hall, I feel super nauseous. I go to the nurse, I say, hey, I can't be in class right now. She says, okay. So then I go back to the gym where the blood is being drawn. I lie down for another half hour, and then I have a last period study hall, like normally in my schedule, so then I just go back into the library, and I just sit on this comfy couch the whole period, and I'm just like thinking about life. And then I had a 2-hour rehearsal after school, so I had to sit through that, which wasn't fun because I was dying. Anyway, that is my life, and that was just a fun little story that I wanted to share with everyone because I want the world to know. Also, don't look. It's not like graphic, but I just have like a red bump, I don't know if you saw it in this video, on my arm, and I got my blood drawn like 2 weeks ago, and it's still there, and it like itches, and it's red. But I'm not doing anything about it because I don't like going to the doctors because I don't like when they weigh me. Also, that's not the only reason, I just don't feel like it's urgent. I don't need to go to a doctor. I'm fine. Probably. So yeah, that was my Q&A/story time, which I didn't know it was going in that direction, but I guess it did anyway. That's all I really have to talk about today. I will see you next time when I talk about something else in my life that nobody cares about. Thank you for watching if you did, and bye. Love y'all.